everybody. Welcome to Taking Care of You with Mrs. Magoo. I'm Mrs. Magoo, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. First up in our Vision Assist segment, we're going to be doing a quick and easy chicken salsa recipe. Then next, I'm going to be sharing my broken foot story with you. Then we're going to be talking about some homemade remedies for dark circles, the dark circles under your eyes. And then finally, I'm going to have the second half of my interview with Scott Trenti from Senior Care Inc. Okay, so first up in Vision Assist, this is a great recipe for all my low vision friends because you don't need measuring cups, measuring spoons. You don't have to read a long, drawn-out recipe. There's 3 ingredients, and that's it. I mean, it just can't get much easier than that. So what you're going to need is 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, approximately 1 pound, a 16-ounce jar of tomato salsa, hot, mild, whatever heat that you like, and a can of Diet Coke. It can't be regular Coke. It has to be Diet Coke. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a 12-inch skillet, and if you like to spray some Pam on it, you can. I don't, only because I think the chicken browns better. So you're going to put the heat on medium-high. You're going to put the chicken breasts in, and you're going to cook them on each side for 2 minutes. So 2 minutes per side. Make sure both sides are nice and brown. Then when that's done, you're going to mix your Diet Coke and your salsa together, and you're going to pour it over the chicken. And then you're going to reduce the heat to medium-low. You're going to cover it, and then you're going to simmer it for 15 to 20 minutes. I mean, it can't get much easier than that. So I've already made this. Watch this. So here we are. I have my 4 chicken breasts. I have lightly salted and peppered them, and then I'm putting them in a skillet. Now you can use spray a little Pam on the skillet if you want. I don't, because I think they just brown much nicer if you don't put any Pam on the skillet. So I just threw them in there. Now what I've done is I have browned them on both sides. Now I say probably a minute and a half on each side will get them nice and brown for you. So once they're nice and brown, I'm going to take my jar of salsa, and I'm going to take the cap off first. And I'm going to drop it in a bowl. Okay. And then I'm going to put in 12 ounces of Diet Coke. And it has to be Diet Coke. It can't be regular Coke. I think regular Coke would probably make it too sweet. And it seems like such an odd ingredient, but you will never know that it's in there. You won't taste it at all. And now we're going to stir this up. Now you should be good to go. But my philosophy is the more vegetables, the better. So what I did was I have a cup of green peppers I chopped. I'm going to add those in there. And now I also have a cup of chopped onions. I'm going to throw those in there. I like to buy the frozen chopped onions because I'm not too crazy about chopping onions. I hate to cry while I'm cooking. Okay, so now I'm going to take my salsa mixture. I'm just going to dump it into the pan with my nice browned chicken breasts. Here we go. I'm just going to stir it up. Now I'm going to lower the heat to medium-low, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it simmer on medium-low for 15 to 20 minutes. If you're not sure, you can always just use a thermometer. The internal temperature of chicken should be like 165 degrees. So that's all you have to do. Serve it with some nice rice. Actually, a friend of mine served it, she told me, with mashed potatoes, and she said it didn't go as well as it did with the rice. So serve it with some nice rice. Bon appetit! So I'd also like to mention that this is a Weight Watchers recipe. When you taste it, you'll never believe that it's a Weight Watchers recipe, but it is. I eat this for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I eat it hot. I eat it cold. I've never given this recipe to anybody that didn't absolutely love it. You can also change it up. Sometimes what I do is instead of using a jar of the tomato salsa, I'll get a jar of the fruit salsa. Then I'll get a can of pineapple chunks. So I'll mix those 2 things together along with my can of Diet Coke. Then just pour it over the chicken and cook it as you normally do. The original recipe called for a 12-ounce can of Diet Coke, but I wasn't able to find a 12-ounce can. I don't think they make them anymore. So I just used the 10-ounce can. It comes out just as well. You don't notice any difference whatsoever. So try it. You'll love it. It's just so easy, and it tastes so good. Okay, up next, my broken foot story. On the last episode, I mentioned how I had broken my foot and I was laid up for 2.5 months, and I told you I'd share the story with you on this episode. Now, I'm not telling you this because I want sympathy or pity, but it just could have been so easily avoided, and it just goes to show one stupid little mistake can cause you 2.5 months of aggravation. So, I like clogs. You can't beat them. You slip your foot in them and you go. God forbid I would have to lace anything up or buckle something. Too much trouble. So, here's a clog. So pretend this is my foot. So I'd be walking along in my clog, and all of a sudden my heel of my foot would slip off of the clog. My whole foot will go on its side, and oh my gosh, the sharp, horrible pain would go through my foot, and I'd have to hobble over to a chair and think, oh my gosh, what have I done to myself? But probably in a minute or so, the pain would subside, and I would just go on my merry way. So this would happen to me sporadically. So whenever it did, I felt that horrible pain. I'd go to a chair, I'd sit down, I'd wait for the pain to go away, and then walk on. So one morning, and this was in the morning, and I was stone cold sober, I'm coming down the steps, and of course, I'm wearing my clogs. So my heel slipped off the back of my clog, my foot turned on its side, which caused me to lose my balance, which caused me to miss the last 2 steps, which caused me to come crashing down on my foot on its side. And you talk about pain. I mean, I saw stars. It was a super owie. And I heard it break. It's like hearing a twig snap. So I crawled over to a chair, hoisted myself up, and my foot was not to touch the ground for another 2.5 months. So I was told, yes, I broke my foot, and I was going to need surgery, but I had to wait a week for the surgery for the swelling of my foot to go down. So then I went in, I did the surgery, they put a couple of screws in my foot to hold everything together, made me feel kind of Frankensteinish, but that's okay. So after the surgery, I had to lay flat on my back with my foot elevated for 5 days. Then I had to wait an additional week for the swelling to go down so I could get a cast put on. So I went in for my cast, and I didn't know this, but casts come in color these days. So I got a hot pink cast. It made it kind of fun. So I had the cast. I had to wear that for probably 6 weeks. And then I got to wear this elegant Gucci boot. This I was in for probably another 3 weeks. And then after that, I had to wear sneakers for a while, just till my foot was completely healed and everything was back to normal. So I had to lay off stilettos for a while. So the point of the story is, if I was wearing a shoe like this is just like an aerobic exercise shoe, it never would have happened. And I would have saved myself 2.5 months of aggravation. Or even if I was wearing a shoe like this, it's a cute little pump, but my heel's covered, so there's no way my heel can slide off this shoe. And I think, too, the moral of the story is, when your body's trying to tell you something, you should really listen. All those times that I was walking around and my foot went on its side and I had to sit down waiting for that horrible, horrible pain to go away, my foot was trying to tell me, I don't like clogs. Get rid of the clogs. Danger, danger. But did I listen? No. And thus, we've just discussed the results. So when your body's trying to tell you something, and you know your body better than anybody, when your body's talking to you, listen. So that's that for that story. But I do have a related story. So once I had broken my foot, I had 2 choices of transportation, crutches or a wheelchair. So I looked into getting a wheelchair, and I was really surprised. A lot of the places I called, these medical supply places, they don't take health insurance to rent wheelchairs. So anyway, I ended up just borrowing one from somebody. And, the wheelchairs are okay. You can't go up and down stairs in them, and It's hard to get into small spaces, and they're just kind of big and clunky, but that's okay. Also, crutches was another alternative, and I ended up spending most of my time on the crutches just because it was easier to get into places, more easy than trying to get the wheelchair into places. So I ended up using the crutches. But, I have to tell you, I just had a hard time with the crutches. My shoulders hurt, my back hurt, my armpits hurt. And I was really having trouble keeping my balance. I mean, I just really didn't feel that secure on them. So I spent a lot of my time just sitting down or just laying down, which isn't a good thing, until someone mentioned to me, why don't you try one of those scooters? And I said, scooters? What scooters? So they told me about them. I researched them. And what they are is like people who have had like a broken ankle, a broken foot, hip replacement, knee replacement. They use these scooters to get around. And what it's just like a scooter that you'd had when you were a kid. You put your foot on the scooter and then you propel yourself with your other leg, with your little handles, you stir around. But these scooters have like a knee roll, so you can rest the injured side of your body on the knee roll, and then you'll propel yourself with your other foot. And the thing I liked about these scooters was that they had baskets. When you're on crutches, you can't carry anything. So, you're constantly having to ask people, oh, gee, could you go get me a drink of water and bring it to me? Oh, could you just go grab that off that table for me? Oh, could you just put this over here on the desk for me? Then after a while, you start to feel like a super pest. So that's why I thought the basket was a great feature on the scooter. So here's the scooter. Watch. So here's my scooter. Ain't she a beaut? Now, these can be adjusted to someone with a height from 5'1" to probably about 6'1". This knee roll is, the knee pad's adjustable, so the taller you are, the further it will come up. Also, these handlebars, they're adjustable too, so they'll come up with the taller you are. And also, you can remove the handlebars to put it in the back of your car or something, but we have a compact car and we never had to disassemble it to take it anywhere. So a couple of important features you want to look for is you want to look for locking brakes. Not all of these have locking brakes on them, so just make sure you get one that has locking brakes on it. And I tell you why, because my brakes are locked right now. So if I go to get on it, or if I feel like sitting down because I'm tired, it's no problem. But if I don't have the locking brake on, the scooter's just going to roll away. Whoa. And that's how you end up with another broken leg. What I used to do was take this and park it in front of the bathroom sink. And then I'd sit down and wash up. And one time I went to sit down, I forgot to put the locking brake on, and the scooter started moving, and I almost ended up in the toilet. So make sure you get locking brakes. Another great feature is the basket. Just move this so you can see it better. The basket's wonderful because you can carry things. It affords you a little bit more independence. So the ones with the baskets are probably $10 to $15 more, but really spring for the extra money. It is so worth it. So the next question is, should I lease one or should I purchase one? We'll talk about that next. I'll see you back in the studio. The motorcycle sounds were just for fun. There is no motor on the scooters. It's all self-propelled, sorry. Unfortunately, medical insurance will not cover to lease these scooters. Of course, why would they? It just might make your life a little easier. So I called a bunch of different places to see how much it was to rent them. And the average price was about $100 a month. And you had to rent it for a month. You couldn't rent it for 2 weeks at a time. And so I needed it for 2.5 months, so I had to rent it for 3 months, which made it $300. And that's a good chunk of change. So I thought, well, let me just see how much it is to buy one. So I went online, and on Amazon, I found one for $139. And that's the one that I demoed for you. I know it's still a chunk of money, but I'm telling you, it is so worth it. It just makes your life so much easier. So, and another thing too is once you're done using the scooter, you could just throw an ad on Craigslist or maybe an ad in your local paper, and hopefully you'll get some of your money back anyway. So if you know anyone that has an injury that could use something like this, make sure you tell them about it, because if that one person hadn't told me, I would have had no idea about these scooters, and I would have been struggling on crutches for 2.5 months. Oh my God, I hate to even think about it. Okay, next up, we have home remedies for those dark circles under your eyes. So why do we end up with dark circles under our eyes? Well, it could be a number of reasons. It could be allergies, it could be genetic history, it could be poor circulation, or even just a late night out. And basically, with dark circles, what happens is your blood isn't circulating very well, so it ends up just pooling underneath your eyes. So there's a couple of homemade remedies. One is chilled tea bags. Now, it works best with green tea or black tea. So when you have your cup of tea, save your tea bag. I put them in a Ziploc bag and then just throw them in the refrigerator, so I always have a bunch on hand. Then what you're going to do is take the chilled tea bag, lie down, put the tea bag under your eyes, and the caffeine in the tea will help constrict the blood vessels, which will help make the puffiness and the dark spots, the dark circles go away. Next, we have cucumbers. So what you can do is just cut up a cucumber. You can put a whole one on your eye, or you could just cut one like a half moon and stick it underneath your eye. But cucumbers are naturally cooling, so that helps stimulate the circulation. So that will also help with the puffiness and the dark circles. The next one is cranberry juice. This one I really love. Cranberry juice is a natural diuretic, which means it's capable of washing all the salt out of your system. So when you have salt in your system, you retain water. When you retain water, it stops your blood from moving smoothly. So that's why it ends up pooling underneath your eyes. So if you have a glass of cranberry juice every day, it should help immensely. And cranberry juice is also good for urinary tract infections. So bottoms up. Up next, I have the second half of my interview with Scott Trenti from Senior Care Inc. They're a wonderful organization that offers many, many, many programs and services to the elder and the disabled community. This interview was originally taped back in February, so some of the dates of the activities may have already come and gone, but there's still tons of great information, so enjoy. And I had heard you have a pet care program?
Yes, very exciting. So for years we've had a program called Positive Connections. And I think we're the only ASAP in the state that offers this. We've decided to expand this program and make it a private program. And we just hired a coordinator for the program. Mm-hmm. And the program will have like 2 tracks. One would be clinical. So we will be, on the clinical side, we would be offering in-home pet therapy, pre or post-grief counseling, pet hoarding services. We do have a hoarding program at Senior Care as well. We will offer safety assessments of homes, because sometimes elders or folks with disabilities, maybe they trip over their pet. Maybe the home is a little cluttered and throw the pet in there. Mm-hmm. On the other side, the not clinical side, we're eventually going to be offering dog walking, in-home pet care, so that if someone is hospitalized or they go on vacation and they need someone to take care of their dog or cat or fish or bird. We're not doing reptiles or spiders. We would be able to offer that as well. Mm-hmm. We'll be doing presentations, consultations. We're looking to help living communities to develop pet policies. So it's a whole array of services, and you're going to hear a whole lot more about it in the coming months. So the coordinator, right now we're in the recruitment phase, so if there are viewers who are interested in volunteering their time in any of these areas, please get in touch with us. You can call the Information and Referral Department. So we're very excited about our expansion of our PEP program.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Any proceeds any revenue that's generated from the PEP program will go towards our underfunded senior care programs.
Oh, okay. Yes. And you also have weekly and monthly activities.
We do. So some of the things that are coming up this month, the first thing is, I'll hold this up for folks. Let me preface this by saying you can always go to our website at www.seniorcareinc.org, and all of this information on upcoming events and things that we'll be offering are always there. There's a couple other ways that you can stay in touch with Senior Care. One is that you can join our email list. You can do that by texting us at 42828, and you will be put on our mailing list. You can also go to our website to the Contact Us section and sign up for the Monday morning from Senior Care as well. So we're showing a series of films, 3 different films that is funded generously by the residents at Riverbend in Ipswich and partly funded by the Tufts Foundation. We recently showed in Gloucester Mimi and Donna about an aging parent who was taking care of their aging developmentally disabled child, and we had a pretty good turnout for that. We'll be showing the Glenn Campbell movie, I'll Be Me, and that's going to be at the Cabot Cinema on April 3rd. And the last showing is called Being Mortal, and that's a book that was written by Dr. Atul Gawande, and that's going to be on June 12th. I had mentioned the Savvy Caregiver program. This is a 6-week program for caregivers, and it helps to teach them and support them in caring for their loved one that may have a dementia.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
We have our spring luncheon, which is coming up fairly soon. That's on March 16th at the Gloucester House, 7 to 9:30 a.m. And again, you can go online to purchase tickets if you choose to, or you can get them at the door. This is the former Valentine's Breakfast. This is our 44th year of doing this. And we changed it to March because the past 2 years, because of storms, we've had to cancel it.
Oh, okay.
So we decided, let's play it safe, although it can still snow in March, right? But, so this is our Meals on Wheels breakfast fundraiser, and we've renamed it Celebrating Spring.
Okay.
All right. Other things that are coming up, we have a declutterers group as a part of our hoarding program. It's an 8-week group, and that will be starting in February, and there'll be more of those as well. And again, if you're interested in that, you can give our Information and Referral Department a call, and they'll connect you with the person who runs that.
Yeah.
So Senior Care, I mentioned the RSVP program. We team up with AARP to offer tax assistance to folks. So this is another thing. We have quite a few accountants, former accountants, who assist people with preparing their taxes. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can do that as well. I also would say that we have our own TV show. Your competition, Katie.
I know. I'll let you plug it anyway.
It's called Living Wisely, Aging Well, and it's typically a monthly show here at Cape Ann TV. And the next show will be in February, but if you go to the Cape Ann TV website, you can see past shows that we've done. You were one of our guests at one time. So that's another way that you can kind of stay in touch with Senior Care.
Now, if someone does not live in the Senior Care designated area, can they just call Senior Care anyway and be directed to programs and services in their area?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, there's 25 agencies like Senior Care that the state contracts with. We're all nonprofits. And so the whole state is covered. So if somebody calls Senior Care and says, my mom lives in Peabody. I'm looking for in-home services. She needs some assistance and so forth. We'll redirect them to North Shore Elder Services. If they call about someone that lives in Lenox, we'll be directing them to Elder Services of Berkshire County.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you can certainly call Senior Care, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Let me just at this point give you a few phone numbers. Senior Care, their local number is 978-281-1750. They also have an 800 number, which is 866-927-1666. Is it 1666?
I'm glad you didn't ask me that, Katie.
No, I'm sorry. Let me start all over again. It's 866-927-1050. 866-927-1050. That's the 800 number. There is also a number, if you live out of state and you're watching this show, you can call. It's called the Elder Care Finder Line. Now that is 800-677-1666. 800-667-1666. So give them a call. But even if you don't get those numbers, no matter what you need and no matter where you live, you can call Senior Care Inc. Once again, 978-281.
1750.
and the 800 line is 866-927-1050, 1050. So we have covered a few of the programs and services that are offered by Senior Care. But wait, there's more. There's much, much more. So Scott, can you come back and tell us more?
I would be happy to.
Oh, great.
Sure.
That's great.
I appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come. Good
you.
information. So that's all the time I have for today. Our quote of the day is, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission." And that was said by Eleanor Roosevelt. So thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. Please don't forget to take the time to take care of you. Bye for now. I'll see you soon.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Oh, are you okay? Oh, aren't you a cute little boy? Where's your mommy?